Welcome all to the next video in the piano MIDI course. It's Cody Wyman here. This video we will be talking about more info on the black notes. So all of these groups of two, we actually talked about groups of two versus groups of three black notes, and basically all of this group of two, all of these are groups of two black notes at a time, followed by group of three. And what you get is you get a nice, if you do a group of three combined with a group of two like this, let me do it an octave higher or two, you get a nice pentascale. Penta meaning five, so it's a 5-note scale. You can actually have them either harmonically together or melodically separate apart. But these are all notes that are turned into accidentals. These are all what are called accidentals, meaning every note has a note that is directly to the right of it and up, or directly to the left of it and down. And usually in the groupings on the piano that are typical, aside from B and C and E and F, these two, aside from those two groups on the white side of the keyboard, the black ones are all sharp and flat invested. So you go up, you have sharps. If you go down, you have flats. So that was brought up in the recent videos. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are getting that. But the black notes are usually used in different types of major scales, different types of minor scales, where the harmony is somewhat lifted, like for instance, normally the A minor scale, the A natural minor scale, doesn't have any sharps or flats or alterations in it. But when you have the harmonic series of scales, the harmonic minor series of scales, then you have notes that are called leading tones, which we'll get into in a later lecture. But you have these raised notes, and usually if they raise them a half step, which would raise it from a natural, in this case, to a sharp. So you would have, instead of G natural on the A harmonic minor scale, you'd have a G sharp. And typically one of the ways to tell whether a piece, this is a little theory lesson for you, the typical way to tell whether a piece is in the major key or its relative minor key is if it has the raised tones in it, if it has the raised sevens. 7th degree of the scale is usually raised. And in this case, you've got the raised tone of G sharp instead of G. So if you had a piece that was an A minor, typically you would have these G sharps in here to let you know, hey, this is not in C major because there's no G sharp in C major, but there's G sharp and A harmonic minor. So it'll let you know glaringly what it is usually. So that is part of this. The other part of this is, again, when you're doing scales, that involve these notes, you're always going to want fingers 2 and 3 or 3 and 2 in the left hand on a group of 2. So 3 and 2 in that order in the left hand on a group of 2 black notes. Then the right hand is going to have to do the mirror opposite of that, which is 2 and 3 on a group of 2 black notes. So whenever you do scales like B major, F sharp major, all of those, once you get into those, you're really going to have to make sure that your fingers 2 and 3 and 3 and 2 in the left hand are on the group of 2 black notes, and that when you're going up here to the group of 3, you have to make sure that you have 4, 3, and 2 in the left hand, followed by 2, 3, and 4, the mirror opposite in the right hand. So again, to review, if you're doing a scale like B major, for example, I would start with the thumb, and I would go 3 and 2, 2 and 3, 1s, 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 2 and 4, 1 and 5. And that's for 1 octave scale going up. So you would have to have 3 and 2 or 2 and 3, depending on which hand. Left it's 3 and 2, right it's 2 and 3 on C sharp and D sharp, that's what they are. Those two. And if you're doing a scale that has the group of 3 black notes following it, you would have to have either in the left hand 4, 3, and 2 in that order, or right hand 2, 3, 4. And those serve as basically anchors to help you with the harder scales once you get into them. All right? Basically, to review and recap, the black notes are what are called accidentals. They are either sharps up and to the right or flats down and to the left. And they are usually in groups of 2 and 3 at a time. All right? If you have any questions, please feel free to consult the Q&A or give a comment to this video, and I will see you in the next lecture.